This outline in the bulletin, and you've read from John 21. I believe I didn't understand a word, but nonetheless, I trusted that's what you read, John 21. But anyway, a trip to remember, and as we think about this today, as we share in this Sunday, I can remember going with Jane in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. And I mean, it's desolate after you get up there. And then around to Green Bay, Wisconsin, you know the Green Bay Packers, where they play. We didn't get in, but we saw Lambeau Field. Okay? But anyway, then when I think of going out to New York, I had a sister live there for maybe 30, 40 years. But anyway, they took us to the Hunter Ski Bowl in the summertime. So we didn't ski, but we rode on the ski lift going up. We're about 15, 20 feet off the ground. And then we've been twice to Niagara Falls. How many have been to Niagara Falls in New York? Oh, yeah, wonderful. I mean, wow. It's amazing. The first time, the second time. And then if you took that boat and you went up close to the fall, the Maid of the Mist, and I told the guy, this was a lot of years ago, and they were handing out raincoats. I said, I don't need any raincoats. Man, he practically glued it on me. I still got wet. But anyway, then going to San Bernardino, California, just south of Los Angeles. And the Arrowhead, where Campus Crusade for Christ International used to have their headquarters before they moved it to Orlando, Florida, in the mountains there was like an arrowhead. Nothing grew into it, but there it was. Wow. And then I think of Florida, and I think I timed it or clocked it mileage-wise. How many miles of orange groves, oranges, on the trees? You could see them. 33 miles. Maybe it's longer than that, but that's what we clocked when we were there. Then to Epcot Center, and we were there so long. Well, let's see, we went about 9 o'clock one morning, and we came out of there at 1 o'clock the next morning. We want to get our money's worth. We saw the parade twice. But anyway, a trip to remember. But I remember, well, yesterday we were up in Pontiac, Illinois. How many have been to Pontiac? About 12,000 people live there. You know why we like... Have you been there?
I just saw it.
Oh, okay. Anyway, the reason we like to go to this meeting once a year... Jane and I are the youngest people there. Wow. Wow. They said, do you want to meet again next year? Of course we want to meet next year. If we're the youngest. Well, I remember going up around Rockford, Illinois, and there were about 3 or 4 of us, and they invited me to go, and it was a canoe trip. How many have ever done canoeing? I didn't say kayaking, canoeing. Okay, good. How many kayakers are here? I haven't done that. Okay. But canoeing. Well, about 3 days and nights camping out the Cherry Valley area, and that was really good. How many have been mushroom hunting? Okay, I've been one time, but I thoroughly enjoy it. I don't even like mushrooms, but it's a challenge. Are they under the... No, I don't mean the offering plate, but the leaves, you know, where are they growing? Around the tree? It is great to try to find them. Okay, now, you think, well, one time our Sunday school teacher took 2 teenager boys, Brett and myself, and we went from Paris, Illinois, and I know some of you have been there. You've told me. And we went to St. Louis on the train. Man, that was a great trip. Because, see, we didn't have a car. Our family didn't have a car. But we went on the train. And we went over the river. I'd never done that. And we went to see, oh, wow. Well, I started to say the best team in baseball, not this year, but the St. Louis Cardinals. And then we got on the train, came home. Same day. I mean, it was a trip to remember. I still remember about that trip. Okay, you think back. Maybe you've been on a fishing trip, a ski trip. Some of you have gone to a number. I know Alan and others of you have gone to a number of countries. And we've been privileged, and we're going again in October, as far as we know, the Lord willing, down to Chile. This time it'll be in the spring and the summertime for them. Always before, it's been in the winter time. I want to go in the springtime and the summertime to see the beautiful flowers and the trees. And because everywhere you look, there's a mountain in Chile. Well, you've traveled to Hawaii. How many have been to? I've never been to Hawaii. How many have been there? Okay, good. Okay, great. Oh, the beautiful flowers. The bird of paradise. Did you see it while you were there? And the anthurium, I think it looks, well, one day, oh, here it is. I think that's the anthurium. And this, is this real or fake? I don't want to, Anyway, this coming out. And if they're real, it just amazes me. What God has created. Oh, wow. Usually the only time I would ever see a bird of paradise or an anthurium would be at a funeral. They'd ship them flowers from Hawaii and there would be. But a trip to remember. Now, some of you have been outside the United States to India and China and Chile and other places. And a number of other places that I'd probably never be to. But it was a trip to remember. Maybe you heard about the guy, about the super short trip that one fellow took. I mean, he showed up, he came to church, and he had 2 ears that were blistered. Blistered. I mean, like they'd been burned. And so the pastor asked him about that, and what in the world happened to you? And the man replied, well, I was resting on my couch or my Davenport or sofa, whatever you call it. What's it in South Korea? What's it in Korean? What's a sofa? Sofa. Okay, good. I know one word in Korean. Sofa. Good. Anyway, he was laying there. He was watching a ball game on television, and his wife was ironing nearby. You don't do that anymore? Ironing. I know we saw a couple yesterday, and Jane said, I remember we visited them down in Lawrenceville, Illinois, and they have 6 daughters, and I remember what that wife was doing that day. We visited them. We were just there at the front porch and knocked on the door, and they came to the door. She's ironing. That was 400 years ago. Well, anyway, I told you that everybody was older than we are. So, anyway, she was ironing nearby. He was totally engrossed in the game, and she left the room. She was ironing, but she left the room, and the iron was near the phone. And the phone rang, and he kept his eyes glued on the television, and he grabbed the hide iron and said, hello. And then he hung up too. But he said, well, how did you get the other ironed and burned? And said, well, I had no more than hung up, then the phone rang again. You know. Oh, well, you talk about being focused. You got in John 21, you look at it now, you've turned to it in your Bible, and they went fishing. Maybe some people, they went fishing because they wanted to supplement their family's income. They had a lot of expenses. But other people say, no way. They lost their focus. And, they were confused. They were weary. They needed a break. And so they've been through so much. Jesus had been crucified. Yeah, he had, just before this. And really, it was a very low time in their life. And they invested everything in following Jesus. It had meant, for 12 of them, it had meant 3 years of their lives. You ever think of that? Over 1,000 days of 24 hours, day and night. Day and night, day and night, over 1,000 days, all this time with him. And they saw Jesus nailed to the cross between two thieves. What in the world had they followed him for? He's dead. He's gone. He's away. Futility, severe pain, disillusionment. But then came Easter. And the women, you remember, went to the tomb on the first day of the week. And they found the stone rolled away. And the body of Jesus was gone. Their master is alive forevermore. He lives. I serve a risen Savior. He's in the world today. I know he's living. Now, you look down in verse 3. And Simon Peter said, I'm going out to fish. That's what he said, didn't he? And the others responded, hey, we're going with you. You're not going to have one up on us. We're going with you. And so all evening and night they fished. And it was wonderful and helped clear their minds. And they tried it. And it's an excellent remedy for stressed out people. But the problem is with me about fishing, physically, for fish, after 2 hours I lose my focus. Now, Jane's dad, 2 weeks vacation, they'd take off from Indiana, south of Indianapolis, drive all night, go to Michigan, stay 2 weeks. He's out in a boat all day. All day long. After 2 hours, I lose my focus. Well, he wouldn't be very happy with me, would he? Well, they grabbed their net. You know, they probably had some beef jerky. And they untied their boat and launched out. They fished all night. And what'd they catch? Zero. Zilch. Goose eggs. Right? Nothing. That happens sometimes. It happens a lot with me if I go fishing. Zero. Well, at the break of day, they were ready to call it a night. They saw a stranger over on the shore. And in the dim morning light. And you notice in verse 5, you see that in verse 5, it said, friends, don't you have any fish? He called back to them. And they responded, no. And then he said, here's what Jesus told them to do. Throw your net on the right side of the boat and you'll find some. And they did, and look out. I mean, how many fish did they catch? And they said they're large fish. 153. Now, I've read where there were each one was different. I don't know if it was true or not, but there were about 153 different kinds of fish. I don't know if that's true, but 153. Now look in verse 7. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, it's the Lord. Boy, here comes impulsive Peter. Look out. He better have his catcher's mask on and his shoulder pads, because he jumps in and takes off. They're about 100 yards, it said, from shore, and the others steer the boat in. And someone's pointed out 3 issues here for us. One, you'll notice, is confrontation, and then a challenge, and then a call. Listen to this. Confrontation, and a challenge, and a call. Now the first one is this. You'll notice in your outline in the bulletin, it says Jesus confronted his disciples about what is on up ahead. He wants them to get a grip on life. We have to watch it, don't we? Because, well, yesterday I saw here in Urbana, Jane and I did, there was an area where we dropped some people off that we were riding with. They dropped them off, and it used to be a motel. It was a Holiday Inn. Very nice, I'm sure, in its day. It's empty. It's big. They said, well, that's where they used to put homeless people a lot. So you probably know where it is. I don't know where it is right now. But anyway, there it is, a big building. Get a grip on life, because if we don't get a grip on life, it's like being homeless spiritually. We don't want to do that. Now, you know, the disciples retreated to their nets, and Jesus confronts us about our priorities. I have to have a priority check every once in a while because, well, what about it? Maybe this will illustrate a little. I don't know if it'll help you or not. But I got sand in here. This is a tennis ball tube, in case you're wondering. It's not a bomb or anything like that, okay? We're not building one. But it's got some rocks, sand and rocks in it. But this is our life. And we have some hobbies, so we put those in. You know, the rocks represent hobbies. And maybe we want to go see somebody. And that goes on. But on the other hand, sometimes work. These are priorities that we have in our life, okay? And, rest, oh yeah. Take a nap about 2 o'clock in the morning for an hour and get up and go at it again. Okay, here we go. Then some other things come along and we got to pay bills. Well, sure we do. We go shopping. Oh yeah, sure. Other things we do, well, we like recreation, don't we? Bowling and golf and... Oh yeah, we go shopping for cars, at least just look at them. And we wanna, and we think we oughta, or we shoulda. There we go. But, well... Time with the family. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe want to watch television, right? Oh, yeah. Olympics? Oh, yeah. I go to bed at 12:30 the next morning. Then try to get up at 6 o'clock. Yeah, right. Other things, right? Sure. Hobbies? Maybe we like to collect books or... Some guy yesterday said he likes to fix clocks. Okay, like to fix clocks. Well, church. What's that one say? Bible read? Not enough room, right? Priorities. Got a lot of stuff down here that maybe needs to get checked out, right? About priorities. Well, when we think about it... do you prefer McDonald's or Taco Bell? Now don't answer. Don't answer. Okay? Well, do you prefer Walmart or Kmart? Do you prefer vanilla or chocolate? Do you prefer Coke or Pepsi? Neither one. You want Diet Coke. Okay, Diet Pepsi. Well, what causes people to love one place over another? Robert Schuller, he used to be the pastor at Crystal Cathedral in California, but they sold that building now, didn't they? They're out. They're not doing that now through difficulties But when he was. He wrote a book called Life Changers. And he was seated on a plane next to a man in Los Angeles. And the man asked him, "Where are you from?" Dr. Schuller. And he said, "Garden Grove, California." He said, "Where's that?" He felt insulted when the guy didn't know about Garden Grove, California. I never heard of it. He said, "Where are you from?" And the guy said, well, Dr. Schuller hoped that it would be someplace he'd never heard of. And he said, "Green Bay, Wisconsin." Well, he said, Dr. Schuller said, "Unfortunately, I'd heard of that because I'm a Green Bay Packer fan." I think he's from Wisconsin. Well, he said, "I thought, how can I insult that man and without violating my Christian ethics or self-respect or self-esteem? How can I do that?" And then he said, "I came up with what I consider to be a clever, subtle, ethical Christian insult." Dr. Schuller said, "Green Bay What does Green Bay have outside the Green Bay Packers? What do they have? And the guy answered him, I don't have the faintest idea because I'm the coach of the Green Bay Packers. I don't know anything about I don't know what Green Bay has. Well, he said, how are you going to do next season? He said, terrific. Well, how can you say that? He said, because we got talent. Talent, he said, what's talent? Since that guy was a coach, Dr. Schuller thought he would say speed, coordination, intelligence. You know what he said talent was? Character. Character. That's talent.